How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another WIZARD101 video. I'm your host, the Frenzy Gamer, and today we have a very small video for y'all. Today, because I'm actually quite surprised that there actually is a leaderboards going on with this little puzzle right now. It seems like this one's actually based on the event theme, which honestly is pretty cool. You know, I kind of like it, kind of dope. But today we are rating the leaderboards for the death theme. Now, we could do the one for overall as well, if you guys want to see it. This one changes pretty frequently, and it has its good days, and it has its also very bad days. This one's kind of dope, by the way. And it just kind of all depends. But for today specifically, we are only going to be reviewing the death theme. But before we get started on that, do you know what this is? Like, does anyone have any idea what this is? Like, if it's not obvious to you, and I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, so if your answer is the Shredder, then you are absolutely correct. Now, you might be thinking, wow, this looks really dope. Surely it must have gotten, you know, an opportunity to maybe potentially be in the leaderboards, right? It got a 6, unfortunately. Honestly, I feel like people just don't have the vision, you know? That's just kind of what happens. People don't have the vision. They don't see my vision. And obviously, can they be better? Yes, of course they can, but unfortunately, we're pretty limited in terms of what we can actually utilize with voice stitches. Either lack of color wheel or lack of the fact that there's a specific piece that can make it absolutely perfect. But other than that, I think this is pretty solid. I really enjoyed making this stitch for sure. Especially because, you know, I really do like TMNT. Definitely like one of my favorite series when I was a child. So enough that being said, let's actually take a look at the leaderboards here. So instead of going from 1 to 25, we're actually going to be going from 25 to number 1. So let's get started with Sabrina's stitch. Now, this one looks pretty good. You know, I really like it. Keep in mind that these ratings are going to be a little bit higher, and it's mainly because my criteria for this is going to be a little different. If you guys haven't seen my last video, which you definitely should, by the way. In fact, you should watch both of those videos that are Rate My Stitch theme. Link is either going to be in the description, or it might just be promoted at the very end of the video. However, I did specifically say that one of the issues I had with the death theme is because it's so vague, but it's vague to the point because it's a school theme that, like, you're very limited as to what could be considered as that school theme. Because a lot of people are going to dumb it down to the point where it has to be, okay, everybody can agree on that, like, myth has to be blue and yellow, or like death has to be black, or like fire has to be red and orange. You know, it comes to that point where, okay, your colors are going to be like the most important thing, and then everything else is like secondary. So this may have been an issue for a lot of people trying to come up with, like, you know, different stitches that can, you know, resemble it pretty well. There are some people who argue that, okay, this wouldn't happen if it's a life theme. I will argue that it will, because it's gonna literally be nothing but green. Like, it's gonna be pretty much nothing but green in nature, because, you know, nature's green. So that's my argument, and that's why my criteria is gonna be a little bit different for this one. However, let's actually get back to talking about Sabrina's stitch here. Again, I think this looks pretty awesome. I really like it a lot. Especially with the use of the Heart of Darkness. I know this is a pretty overused one, but can you blame them? It's one of the coolest looking ones in game. I'm giving this a 10. This one's really awesome. Kesley, again, fairly cute, you know, fairly basic, but also fairly cute. You know, I like it a lot. I would say this one probably will receive a light 9 to a strong 8. What are those? The boots are absolutely pretty horrendous. I think it kind of kills this stitch for me. Again, kind of cooking, but not a fan of the boots. Giving this one like a light 7 to a strong 6. Jack, this is the I do PvP and I'm a warlord stitch that we have here. So looks pretty good. There's not much I can really say. It just looks good. We'll just kind of give this like a 7 to a light 8. Autumn's is really dope. I like this one a lot. The more I look at it, the more I really do appreciate it. It's really dope looking. Cat ears, Abyssal Warrior suit, which we don't know where to get it. It probably could be a bundle. I'm not 100% sure on that part, but it is a very good chance that it is a bundle set. Now, if you heard a little bit of a noise, my bad, I was just moving my microphone a little bit. This looks good. This just looks really solid. I'm giving this a 10. Morgan's, you know, it's a pretty interesting combination of using like the wolf spear. You know, we're using a lot of the beast moon stuff, which is kind of dope. And then we have Morgan's hat, which honestly doesn't really kill the Stitch for me. You know, it actually looks really good altogether. I would say this one, because it also matches with the pet, by the way, because it matches with the pet and everything, I would say this will probably get like a strong 8 for me. This is just the same set, that's a 1. Now this one, Heather Stitch, I believe this should have been like the top 10, top 5 probably. There's a good chance this could have probably been like the #1 Stitch in my personal opinion. This one looks really amazing. Again, I love this robe. All Souls robe is, I wouldn't say it's underrated. I've been seeing more people rock it nowadays, so I really do appreciate that. But I personally think that like if we were to obtain the color wheel, right? I'm gonna always talk about color wheel no matter what, because I just really want to have the color wheel in this game. I think it will definitely make stitching so much better and so much more fun to do. Being able to dye specific parts of this gear would just make, you know, this robe like probably the most beautiful robe, or at least one of them. Like, I really love this robe. I love this robe so much. I wish it was more customizable, but as is, based on this stitch, this looks amazing. This one's a 10. Honestly, I really like these wands. I wish it wasn't locked behind the starter set, but I mean, that's just me. I really do like that one a lot. So I would probably give this like an 8. This one's kind of cooking. I do see why it's in leaderboards, and I also see why it's kind of low. Because let's just be honest. If somehow, you know, I'm gonna mention this again, the color wheel thing, if we were able to dye the hat and the boots, maybe a little bit similar to like the bottom of the robe, you know, not the red parts, but like a little bit of the darker brown parts, you know, make it match pretty much almost perfectly, if not perfectly, this would definitely have been the #1 stitch. I would argue it will be the #1 stitch if you were given that option of the color wheel. As is though, you know, obviously it's not a perfect match, you know, definitely has some color scheming issues, but it's also not terrible to look at. You know, we could definitely see the vision. She was definitely cooking. I would say this one definitely gets an 8 for me. This one's just boring. I don't like it. It's like a 5. This one, honestly, you know, I do like the fact that it matches with the pet and everything. It does happen to rock a majority of the Sharon set though, which is kind of an issue for me, but it matches pretty well with like the Witch Hunter's, you know, robe. So I would say this one personally will probably get like a 6. This one's kind of cool, you know, kind of basic, but kind of cool. This one also gets a 6 for me. I don't even know why this one's in leaderboards. That's a 1. Honestly, if I can get a negative score, I would. This one's also the same issue, pretty much the same set. 1, 1. Okay, she's kind of cooking. It's kind of cute. Fairly basic, but kind of cute. I would say this one receives like a 6 as well. 6, maybe a light 7. Again, same set. 1. Andrew is kind of cooking. Okay, I'm gonna say this for a lot of stitches. There are 3 stitches so far that I absolutely freaking love. Actually, maybe 4. I like his. I feel like if he did the same thing as number 25, you know, Heart of Darkness, I know overused, but it would basically complete it in my personal opinion. It would definitely have gotten a 10. As is though, the one doesn't necessarily kill it too much for me, but there are better options out there. I would say this one specifically will probably get like a strong 9. Yeah, I'll give it a 9. I don't really like this one. This one's just kind of like meh, and also I hate the wand. This one gets like a 4. This one kind of cooking. Don't like the boots though. Definitely could have used better boots, but honestly is kind of cooking. I would just give this a 7 just because they were kind of cooking. Just the boots kind of killed it. You know, this one's a good old 2 for 2 special. You buy yourself 2 sets of the Deathmire, get yourself 2 sets of the Draconian set for free. It looks kind of good, you know, kind of cooking, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely give this one like an 8, maybe to a light 9. Cadence is pretty good. Honestly, the boots don't really kill it for me that much. Yeah, it just looks fine. You know, it looks fine. Looks pretty good. I like the fact that it matches with the pet pretty well too. I would say this one just gets an 8, maybe like a light 8 to like a strong 7. And then we have Valerians. Now, for those who don't know, Valerian's actually pretty well known for submitting pretty awesome stitches and a lot of different stitch reviews, including mine. You know, they always, you know, come up on top, and this is no exception. I honestly think this looks pretty good. I have seen stuff on Reddit, Twitter, Discord, Wiz communities blaming on this stitch for being too basic and how it's in #1 in leaderboards. Do I think it deserves a #1? Probably not. I could name a couple of these stitches that could have been the #1. I do think this stitch is definitely worthy of top 5 though, for sure. What I like about it is that it uses different Halloween sets. So we have, you know, one of the Halloween sets, the werewolf, Saigon, which is probably the most recent Halloween set, and then Dark Wraiths, which is basically like the original, the OG Halloween set, or at least one of them. So like, they were definitely cooking with this one. They were definitely cooking. I think this one looks amazing. It's very similar to the one I have in my massive fantasy palace, like the little area where I have a bunch of my own stitches here. And I honestly think it looks good. I don't think that it deserved to get flamed on a lot for that stitch. I honestly thought that the stitch definitely looked good. If anything, they should have been going after like the insignia stitch users, because like there was a lot of them in the leaderboards for some reason. Some of them definitely look good, some of them not so much. But Valerian's looks very similar to my stitch over here that I put for the death theme that got pretty good scores. So I think that it looks good. I would say personally, it definitely is a light 7 to a strong 7 to like a light 8 if I were to, you know, rank that stitch specifically. That's basically all I have for today's video. If you did like today's video, please make sure to leave a like. It definitely supports the channel quite a lot and immensely. If you want to have a discussion, whether you agree or disagree with my personal opinions about stitches, specifically in today's video, let me know. Let's have a discussion. It's always nice to talk to you guys about, you know, stitching and everything. But other than that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Join the Frenzy family. We're going to be doing more videos, WIZARD101 related content, Pyro101 related content, other related content, and more streams coming soon. So with that being said, as always, to everyone listening, remember to stay frenzied. Peace.